And we're back.
We are back.
How you doing, Danny?
I'm good. Having a great week. I'm lying. Yesterday was a terrible, terrible.
It was pretty bad. What's going on, Danny?
So yesterday, I had to be in Bakersfield.
Okay.
So
Right after work?
not necessarily, but it was still afternoon. It was like 3:45. I head from Tulare
Okay.
to Bakersfield.
Right.
So I you know where Love's is off of Page?
Yes.
So I'm heading south on the 99. So I get out there. Traffic. It's busy. It's a busy day on 99,
Okay.
right? Normal
Mm-hmm.
I get out there and I'm in between two trucks and I hear pop. My tire. Blowout. And I'm like, oh, shit. So,
Right.
So, and there's a truck behind me and the truck in front of me. And the truck behind me is like, "Wah, blah, blah." I'm like, you, dude. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get to safety here, bro.
Uh-huh.
Right? So I pulled over and I get out. My tire is just
Shredded.
sucks. So got to deal with, roadside assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You'd have a spare in the back?
I do have a spare, but the jack is, so the car's down here.
Uh-huh.
And the jack it's one of those scissor jacks.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get under there.
Yeah.
Right? You just can't. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you got to crank it. It's not.
Yeah, call AAA to help you get that pumped
Right.
out.
And they go, okay, we're gonna send you a link. Click on it to confirm your location. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Click on it. And then I get, no offense, but somebody who doesn't understand English and who can barely speak English. And I go, I confirmed it. I can't understand you, sir. I confirmed. You can't hear. It's too loud. She goes, it's loud where you're at. And I go, yeah, I'm on the side of the road.
Yes.
That's why I'm calling for assistance.
Got it.
If I was somewhere where it was quiet, I'd be happy and content.
Right.
Right? And out of the sun, because it's blazing sun.
Right, yeah. It's already starting to get super hot outside. Yeah.
And it's not the safest thing to be on the side of the road on the 99.
Nope, it is not. Yes.
No, not at all. Trucks are just flying by.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm trying to give myself some space. If they smash into my car, I don't need my car smashing into me.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to give myself some space on the side of the road. And she's like, I can't hear you. And I go, I confirmed the location. She goes, okay, all right. So you want a tow? I don't want a tow.
I just need to get my flat fixed.
Yeah. And then so she sends a driver. He shows up about 30 minutes later. And he's all, this sucks. And I go, yeah. And he has a floor jack, so he hits it from the front.
Yeah. Cranks it.
Lifts me up. And then he goes, where are you going with this, with the spare? And I go, Bakersfield, and then back here to home. He's all, not on these.
Nope.
He's all, this is a one-way ticket.
He gave you a bunch of donuts.
Yeah, he put a donut on. He goes, this will get you, I don't even know if you'll get to Bakersfield. You're going to get to McFarland,
Yeah.
if that.
Nah.
I'm just going to be honest, and you're going to only be able to do 50 miles an hour with this thing.
Right.
Right? And I go, great. I got to be there by 6. And it's already 5:30, so I called them up, my Baco people, and go, ain't going to happen.
Gotcha.
And they're like, yeah, don't worry, Danny. Glad you're safe. So go up to Tipton, next town, and swing it back around and come back to Tulare to change my tire. And I pull in, and the guy's like, blow out. And I go, yeah. And he's
Yep.
like, where's the tire? And I go, it's in the back. And he's like, holy crap. How did you sidewall? How do you do that?
Right.
And I go, 99. He's like, oh, yeah, potholes or,
It's bad.
yeah, you never know. 99's the worst, bro. There's always stuff.
It's always been bad. As long as I've been in the valley, it's always been bad. It will always be bad because there's nothing that they can do. And if they try to repair it, it's just more delays for everybody. So
and the trucks just drop stuff. They'll just randomly, big pieces of metal laying in the middle of the road. If you're not paying attention, bam.
I had a buddy, literally yesterday, he crashed his Dodge Challenger on the 99, completely totaled it. So it's one of those things that, yeah, it's bad.
One morning, I'm heading to work up in Merced.
Uh-huh.
And I lived in Fresno. So it's a little drive, right? So I'm heading up north, and I have a Mitsubishi Eclipse 2001.
Okay. Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
Continue.
it was pretty nice. It was a nice one. And I'm smashing. I am smashing down the 99. And bam! I go. I'm in the fast lane.
Uh-huh.
My front of my car goes up and into the oleander bushes and lands. And I'm looking at oncoming traffic.
Ooh.
Which is not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm, so I'm trying to fire it up. It doesn't want to start. So I jump out. I got to get out of the car. Right? Truck goes around me. Right? Cars. And now I'm turning on the hazard because I don't want them to plow. And my car's black.
Right.
So I'm freaking out. Right? I go, because they ain't seeing me.
Yeah.
It's early morning. They can't see the car.
Yeah.
Until they see the car. Right? And I go, crap. Highway patrol pulls up. He's like, we got to get this car off the road, buddy. And I go, I would if I could.
Yeah.
He's like, doesn't start? And I go, no. And he's like, let's get a tow truck. So they get a flatbed. He pulls over and he's like, dude, you are so lucky, bro. You went over the oleanders. You should be dead.
Yeah.
Right? You could be. Somebody's watching out for you. And he's like, what'd you hit? And I go, I don't know. He's like, look at the front end of those Eclipses it's just fiberglass.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and the shroud on the bottom is just fire. It was just all smashed up.
Ugh.
My rim on this side is just demolished, right? And back about 100 yards or so, highway patrol. He's like, oh, he comes back up and he's like, I found it. And I go, what was it? And he's a diesel truck rim.
Completely shredded your car from underneath.
You're laying on the side, and he's on. You're so low in this car. You're lucky you just didn't
flip
and die.
Yeah,
right. He's all because you should be gone,
dude. Yeah, this has been a couple of sketchy situations on the 99. I just remember one particular story that I remember was coming back from the Tulare Fair one night, and so I had an old like I said, I had a Honda Accord. I swear to God it was cursed because that's the same Honda Accord that got broken into. And it had a short in it. So like I would say like 300 miles it would blow out. So I'd always have to replace the fuse.
Yeah.
So one day one late night coming back from doing the Tulare Fair event, and if you ever do fairs and radio, you're stuck there all day.
Yeah.
And there was one of those situations where I was stuck out there all day.
You got to commit to being there.
Yeah, if you work in radio, you're gonna be at a fair. You're gonna be out there all day. And I remember coming home, driving on the 99, and I'm sandwiched between two semi trucks, like literally one behind me and one in front of me. And this Accord was built to be like a go-kart. Like this was my little personal street racing type car, sure. Right? And so it had a bunch of like things that was very go-karty. Like,
did you mod it?
Yeah, like any little bit I could.
Yeah,
but it was a pretty banged up car, not gonna lie. I bought it just because it was cheap off of a friend who was just giving it away practically. So it had a little bit of problems, and one of them is that it had this short in it. I'm driving on the 99 late night, so it's like I would say 11:30 midnight, and I'm sandwiched between two semis. First thing I notice is my lights just dimming.
Oh yeah,
that's like the first sign.
Electrical.
Yeah. You start seeing the lights from inside and outside of the car just start to dim. And I was like, oh no.
We're dying.
Yeah. And then I just hear my car completely shut off. And as soon as that happened, so when your car completely shuts off and it's an electrical issue, there's no lights, no nothing.
You're just coasting.
Yeah, you're coasted in the dark.
Yeah.
And I'm sandwiched between both these semis, and I can't even put on caution lights on because there's no electric. So I immediately run or like glide my car into the side, like the nearest. I was so lucky. There was an off pike going up to, I think it was actually right here.
And he can't see your brake lights.
Yeah,
either.
they can't see nothing,
so
right?
If you're tapping your brakes, they don't see.
Yeah, so I was getting off on an off ramp. And I was so lucky that I was able to get off of that and was able to glide the car up an off ramp and across a bridge. I was coasting, right off the I forgot what street it was. I might have been the same one where the Love's at actually, or I
Okay.
was able to come up the
Page.
yeah, I'll come up the off ramp, and then you know how there's a bridge that goes over the 99.
Yeah.
I was able to go cross that bridge and go down the hill completely off neutral, and then was able to pull over to the side and able to swap the fuse out before I was able to go home and drive all the way back to Coalinga that same night. And I think it was at that moment when I decided not to drive that car anymore.
Yeah, not safe.
Yeah, I was like, that was it. I was like, okay, I got to do something about this. So I ended up borrowing my dad's or my grandma's pickup at the time to for the rest of the time. And I told my folks, I'm like, I'm done with this car. But speaking of technology, I should say, I couldn't really think of a turning point for that one. But did you hear about the thing that's going on with AI with Disney? What happened?
No.
So sometime last year, I think it was like last October, November, Disney invested $1 billion into OpenAI, ChatGPT, basically. And this was right at the time when the Sonos app came out. I think it's Sono, but it's their video generative AI, right?
Sure.
Created by ChatGPT. And so Disney was like, okay, this is cool. We're going to invest $1 billion into your company to do this, to work on this. So I guess 2 days ago, ChatGPT announced that they're shutting that app down. So the app that's been responsible for basically all the crazy AI videos you've been seeing all over the internet is finally shutting down. So of course, there is other apps that generate video, like crazy AI videos, stuff like that, but it wasn't as powerful as ChatGPT's version of it. It's like it was the most realistic, the most like craziest one that you can do. Pretty much psyching people out or scamming people.
Facebook Reels are just filled with those.
Yeah, it is. It is just filled with that AI slop. So
People running from dinosaurs and zombies.
yeah,
I'm through with that.
so they completely announced that they are shutting down the app, and Disney ended up pulling out their investment from the company because it was supposed to be like $1 billion and then plus access to all of their Disney assets.
Okay.
So, because the theory was that they wanted to see if they could make generative AI videos or movies, essentially, which would be crazy. And it would not be good for the film industry. In other words,
Because that can take the jobs from so
from
many.
storytellers, animators, all of it. And so they decided not to do any of that stuff anymore, which I think would be a good sign, because ChatGPT has been kind of like the head honcho on making the first move on AI.
Sure.
So what I think is going to happen now, which is a good thing for the film industry and for television and for artists, is that I think they're going to start backing down on the whole generative video and photos and stuff like that. Generative AI.
It's already moved into music.
Yeah.
They got people making music now.
So I think now these companies are starting to realize the problem with this, because AI has to get the information from somewhere, right? So that's the big problem, is that you tell it that you wanted to do something, like let's say, hey, I want you to make like an Easter bunny going down a hole and dropping Easter eggs somewhere, right? It's going to find that information from somewhere, and it's going to copy it from somewhere or get ideas from somewhere. It has to figure out where it's going to get that information from.
And there goes copyright infringement.
And there goes all the copyright issues.
Yeah.
So I think the AI companies are finally like don't want to fight with it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen now is they're going to step away from the generative video and photos and music. I think they're going to they're not doing it now, but I have a strong feeling that they're going to start slowly stepping away from it and started going into tools and development.
Sure.
So what I was thinking, have you watched Ted? Like the show Ted by Seth MacFarlane?
No, that's the bear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a show that he's made on Peacock. I think it's on Peacock.
Yeah.
They just did season 2, and one episode, I think it was the first episode of season 2.
All AI.
No. So they used an AI as a tool. So which kind of confused everybody. So there's a scene where Seth MacFarlane he's doing basically an impression of Bill Clinton. It's hilarious. I recommend everybody to go watch it. It made me laugh hysterically when I watched it. So
he's a good impressionist.
Yeah, and he's really good at doing Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
So there's an episode where he's playing as Bill Clinton, and they used apparently CGI at first. So first they try to use CGI, and they also try to do prosthetics to make him look like Bill Clinton.
Sure.
But it made him look weird, according to Seth MacFarlane. It just didn't fit. It looked weird. And so he was just like, screw it. Let's just go see what AI can do. And so they used an AI prompt to basically mask Bill Clinton's likeness onto Seth MacFarlane. And it's almost spot on.
Wow.
It's almost spot on. Like you couldn't tell the difference. It was really good. And I said this was a good use of AI because you're using it as a tool. Sure. And Bill Clinton is a public figure, so
right.
there's no copyright infringement on that because he's a public government figure.
Right.
So there's no way of escaping that. So
unless Seth was saying things that he shouldn't.
Right, but
yeah,
he made him look. It made him look funny. Like
I did inhale.
Yeah, it made him. It was hilarious.
Right.
If you haven't seen it, I would recommend. There's clips all over YouTube and TikTok and all that.
Sure.
You could definitely find it. But I think what's crazy about AI now, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this is kind of big elephant in the room. Where's Randy? Randy had a family emergency, so he's not here. But right. Randy knows that I have a big entrepreneur mind. I'm always thinking about like ways of like making extra money, side hustles, whatever. That's just kind of how I was raised. I grew up trying to hustle throughout my entire life. I've always wanted to be a business owner. That was the one thing about me in my mind. I've always wanted to have like not in a storefront, but like have a business of some kind, right? So my mind went kind of crazy the other day. And I decided to use AI. I started to use Gemini to kind of like basically quarterback an entire business model for me on how to start an arcade business. And man, dude, it is to the T on detail on exactly how from start to finish and how to set it up.
Do you know Rash from New Rock 104?
Yes.
He just opened an arcade in Clovis.
Oh, see?
He has two. He just opened 2 arcades.
Dude,
it's arcade/bar.
Yeah, that is where the money is at.
Yeah,
a barcade. That's where. And I thought about that. So I was he probably went to the same arcade as I went to. So I was heavily inspired by an arcade called Ground Control in Portland, Oregon. So I went to Portland, Oregon a couple years ago, and I did a show there. And it's a 2-story barcade. So upstairs it's pure pinball machines, and downstairs they had nothing but retro arcade machines, tabletops, everything.
Sure.
And like sit down places where you could get food and then drinks, and then I think after 9 p.m. So it's like it's open to the public, but after 9 p.m. it's adults only.
Sure.
So, and they do like shows and DJs and stuff. It was pretty cool. It was that always kind of like gave me that little bit of that light bulb in the head.
And
like
they were busy.
Yeah, it was packed, bro. And it wasn't like a place where you go and put in quarters. You pay a entry fee to get in, and everything's free to play, which I think it's
unlimited credits.
Yeah, unlimited credits on everything.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, this would be so sick. I'm excluding like the claw machines and stuff prize machines and stuff.
Sure.
But I thought it was so.
Mortal Kombat had them.
Yeah. You could sit there if you want to play Mortal Kombat all day at that place and just drink. You can. Yeah. That to me was a vibe.
You got to buy your own beer though.
Yeah, you got to buy your own beer. Got to buy your own drinks. And they didn't not just have like beers, but they also had like mocktails and stuff.
It's a full bar.
Yeah, and it was so cool.
Sure.
And so I had that kind of a similar idea on setting something up, but more on the local scale, more kind of a more retro vibe. And then also the idea of like having like a little mini online radio station in the corner or something, play music, something that can bring a gimmick, some kind of gimmick, have something to do with cars, and stuff like that. And the AI came up with an entire business model of it of like from start to finish on like how to get the money for it, how to start it up, what to look for, where to get contracts for like certain deals, investments, and stuff like that, and how to get it all started up. And I was like, man, this is a powerful tool. And it made me really think like I could really start a business. So don't be surprised if one day I'm just gonna pop up and be like, "Hey, man, I just opened a business, man, and it's gonna be out here somewhere."
Shout out to Rash.
Rash, yeah. Oh man. And I'm like, what do you think? Like, what do you think, Danny? Would you ever have you used AI as a tool, or have you ever like dabbled into it?
I have.
Not to praise the machine, but just saying.
Right. Here's my stance. I'm Sarah Connor.
Right.
I'm
Weary.
I'm not against it. I'm all about tech. I love tech. But I can't help, something inside me makes me go, okay, you're telling me that I can have unprotected sex and I'm not going to catch anything? Wait, what? My mind thinks that way.
Gotcha.
That you're giving me something that's going to be
collecting everyone's data.
Right. Exactly. And I dabbled with it and I did some show prep. Which is amazing because it spits out some wonderful, like a template of
bits,
things that I could use. And I was like, oh, I've been struggling the whole time. And it was 30 minutes later, I went and did something, and I came back 30 minutes later, and it was already done.
Yep.
Right? And I don't know exactly how long it took, but I came back 30 minutes, and my show prep printed out PDF, ready to go, where normally I would have to convert and do all this other stuff.
Yep.
Show prep, meaning getting my show prepared, my radio show.
Yeah, so people who go into the booth, they don't just think about things outside their head, but they can, but it's a lot more professional when you have like a little notes here and there on what you want to talk about.
An outline, a summary of the next day.
Right.
Things to talk about per hour. And but it just seemed too easy. And the thing that scared me the most was it made me feel like I don't have any play in this. So I'm excluded.
Right.
And what makes me very, very leery of AI, at what point do I become irrelevant in all of this? Right? Yeah, you're still going to need somebody to implement data.
Right.
Because that's where it starts. I mean, if it starts pulling out its own stuff and start thinking on its own, well, then we're in a different world.
Yeah. There's been some cases already where like talking about like our jobs, right? That like the one thing I think about all the time is when I think about radio, because I remember when ChatGPT came out, because I remember being at the HITZ studio talking to Randy like when ChatGPT dropped, right? And then when they added like more features to it, I was always in the board with Randy telling him like, "Yo, dude, this just dropped. This is gonna change everything." And the one thing I remember for sure was, so Drew Carey, the comedian Drew Carey, who's also the host of The Price is Right.
Right.
He has his own radio show on Sirius XM. And what happened is he is a busy guy. Like he is one of those guys that has a full schedule every day, every single day. And he lives like in Las Vegas, I think. And he goes to like LA like once a week, and he does, or a couple times a week just to do his show. And I guess on one of his busiest weeks, he decided to use AI, to the voice generative AI, to send in bits to Sirius XM, and then people caught on to it, and they confronted him about it. Almost cost him his show. So it's one of those things where
I worked for a company that started AI on air.
Oof.
We had a midday girl.
Yeah.
In Portland. She stepped away. They let her, in fact, basically as the story goes. So she stepped away, and they told her, before you go, can we use your voice? Just talking to hear and read these lines.
Yeah, no.
AI. And she was, I think Brandy was her name. Yeah. She was pulling off middays, AI. And we did it for we carried that show for few months, and it tanked.
Yeah.
because there's no interaction. There's
Yeah.
no way for the listener to be involved. It's just like voice tracking.
Yeah. It's a voice track.
And but she was able to every day knock out a show. They would go to it, drop those lines in, and she'd spit out a show.
Mm-hmm.
Talk over this intro, talk over that intro, talk about our night at the bar, talk about we're going to be this Saturday at the car wash.
Right.
And she read all the lines as if I listened from afar, and I was going, oh wow, it's living.
Yeah.
So we do have AI DJs, and they got to a point where they were like, okay, the ratings are not there,
Mm-hmm.
and we just can't do it. We can't do it anymore. And she was wanting her full-time salary.
Yeah.
She's like, you're using my voice. I should be getting paid.
Yep.
Full-time salary, right? And they're like, no, you're just a tracker. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm not just a tracker. I'm actually.
You're putting myself on everything else.
Right. And so they didn't want to pay her, and I guess it went away.
Yeah, there's an intellectual right to it. That's why it's always best. And I'm a very big advocate on this whole thing, especially when it came to like the STAG, when they were talking about when the Actors Guild started had to fight for their rights for the whole AI thing. I say copyright your voice, copyright your likeness. If you're out in public, if you're a public figure, make sure you are protected because it can definitely get sticky. But like I said before, talking about the whole like generative AI stuff, I think a lot of these companies are going to start pulling back on that because of those reasons.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just my prediction. I think it's going to be, I'm also a weary person too, but I also talk to my AI like it's my actual assistant from time to time. Like there's sometimes, so the cool thing I like about Gemini, because I am a subscriber to Gemini, is that there is a live feature. So you press the live button and it's like you're talking to a person.
Sure.
But it's a computer, essentially. And you can talk to it about any problems and anything, and it'll communicate to you like a person, which is creepy, but in a way, it has helped me clear a lot of my mind on a lot of jabble, especially from a person like me who has ADHD, and someone who's always, my mind's 1,000 miles per hour. It's actually really nice to kind of like take my entire ideas and then it structuring it for me. And then I can always go back to it and look at it. Like, oh yeah, okay, I talked about this. Okay, I did this. Okay, I did this, and then it go back to it. And so it's a tool, and like any other tool, you could misuse it or use it like the way it was intended to be used. So
I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think it's going to be there, and there's always going to be some. I think it's the same thing as when the calculator watch came into the classroom. People were like, even teachers were in the math room. You can't, in the math classroom, they were like, you can't wear that watch in here. I remember I had the Casio one.
Yeah.
Right. And I got told I couldn't wear it. And I go, I'm not using it.
Right.
You'd have to see me, coming up. And she's like, yeah, but it's a calculator.
I did grow up. I was old enough to be told, like, hey, man, you're not going to have a calculator everywhere you go.
Right. And
little did they know.
And I couldn't wear the watch, which sucked because I thought it was cool to have, right? So I had put it in my backpack while I was in the classroom, and then when I left, I can strap it back on. And I thought, this is some bullshit. You're making me take my watch off? But I see the teacher's point.
Yeah.
Because at some point, if I wanted to. But it's not showing me how to do the work.
Right.
You still had to do the paper work, right? Just because it gave me the numbers doesn't mean I can figure out the answer. You got to show your work. How did you get to that answer?
Again, that goes back to the whole tool thing too. It's like I could just take a screenshot of this problem and then it could just tell me how to do it.
Right. Here's something, because I have two people that are in college in my house and they do a lot of online stuff.
Right.
And they always talk about the fear of, the teacher says, I can run
yeah, there's the AI checkers.
Yeah, the AI checker on your work to see if you're cheating.
Yep.
And I thought, how the hell does it do that? Is it because it can tell if you pulled it from another source?
So there's two things. So people who are looking for jobs can do the exact same thing. Like LinkedIn and ZipRecruiter, they also have AI checkers. If you AI generated a cover letter or something like that,
Sure.
same thing. So the way it works is that there's certain word patterns that they can figure out what it's AI or not. And then if you copy it, like direct copy and paste it, same thing. There's inner code in the words.
They're watermarked.
Yeah, they're watermarked.
Right.
And they don't see it. It's beyond your control. You can't see them.
There's an and and a but in there that's watermarked.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just a bunch of ones and zeros that can set off a red flag.
Right.
So my advice to anyone, don't use AI. You can use AI to help you with the cover letter to come up with some bullet points. Yeah, but don't let it write out the entire thing for you, because you will get flagged. And I was proof of that. I got flagged once off of it was like one application I did a couple years ago, and then it's like, no, this is AI. Sorry, we can't accept it. I don't know why this camera always is the one that always bibs out or whatever, but I think that's time for us, Danny. What do you think?
That's it.
Yeah. So we will be back next week, hopefully with Randy. But
send your well wishes to Randy.
Yeah, Randy's going through some. So we will be back. So later y'all.
Guys.